Just don't touch. Thank you, though. See?
Oh, man.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Oh, we're rolling.
You know what? You looking really good.
Thank you.
I don't know, you might be showing too much leg for this episode.
That's why it's crossed this way. So you're seeing what's going on here.
I'm
but
definitely seeing
the camera
the
is
action.
seeing the burgundy.
They're seeing the burgundy?
Yes.
Anxious, nothing. A little bit anxious, nothing.
Welcome to Take Two. Is this episode 2?
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. I mean, who's counting?
Who's counting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So welcome to Take Two with Mylan and Kate. And we are talking about the blended family effect. And you had a really cool thing when we were going through pre-production. What did you say? Parenting without the step.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
That was
without
dope.
the stepping. Co-parenting without the stepping.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. And what do you mean by that, babe?
Co-parenting without the stepping, because I struggle sometimes. Because you have 3 girls, they're a little bit older, and I have two kids, a boy and a girl. And you might have similar experiences, but for me in particular, you know, the girls are a little bit messy. So sometimes it's difficult because the African mother or parent in me wants to jump out and discipline the way, the Africans know how we do with the discipline, right? But then I have to pull myself back and gather my thoughts and then woosah and go find him and say, hey,
It's not that bad.
this and that happened. Let's say the dishes, they keep leaving the dishes in the sink. I'm cooking and I'm cleaning and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning. Is this something that you're going to tell them to jump in? Because we're not talking about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds here. We're talking teenagers. A couple of them are.
2 of them are teenagers.
Exactly. And so therefore, but interestingly, the younger one, 9 or 8.
Well, she's going to be 10.
She is very helpful. And sometimes I don't want to overstep by disciplining in a way that I think that you will find to be a little bit offensive, or maybe your co-parenting style is a little bit different from mine. So there is the struggle there. So how do you find the balance in navigating that and making sure that you're not overstepping or you're not viewed as that strict step parent.
Yeah. And with us being newer to each other's children, that was, for me, that was the tough thing because I got 3 girls. So, my range of seriousness goes with the ages, right? My youngest, I'm a little lighter with. My middle one, a little bit more conversation with. And my oldest is like, yo, you already know the vibes. So when introduced to Kate's children, it became, I don't know how I'm a parent, y'all. Okay, go talk to, tell them go do this. And Kate, where I will give you your props that you were better, you were already into parenting mode with my girls. I didn't understand that, right? Because it's like my girls kind of knew me already, and I don't know if other fathers feel that, if other guys feel that. It's like, your daughters or your sons know about you, so you don't gotta do, but learning over, because one of my tough challenges was dealing with your daughter, right? Because the way how I coach and counsel my girls, I knew I couldn't really do that with your daughter. How was that for you?
I mean, and I understand the struggle where sometimes you'll call me, right? And you're like, well, your daughter said this. What do you want me to do? Or, go talk to her. I asked her to go, sleep, and she's like, well, let me go talk to mommy first, right? And you're struggling with that.
She did say, let me talk to Bobby first. That was crazy.
I trust you enough, right, to know that, okay,
tiny.
Well, she's not tiny.
Well, she was at the time when she said that to
but
me.
she still has a mouth on her. My daughter definitely.
It's like 5 of them. It's
in
one,
a
but it's
respectful
like
way. She knows how to defend herself
busy.
like her mama. So that can be tough if you're dealing
Bronx
with that.
lineage.
Exactly.
The Bronx.
So I trust you. I think to respond to the original question, you trust this person. You're with this person for a reason. And so you want them to be able to discipline their kids, as long as you're not physically.
Yeah.
I mean, in the African household, a little ass whooping never hurt no baby because we've gotten it.
We all did. I'm saying. Like, no,
Who are we?
I used to, yo, listen.
No, who are we?
Listen.
You
I had
still
a bat.
You still get.
I had a bat. Listen,
So
war stories.
All right.
I'm Liberian. Y'all know the history of Liberia.
Yeah,
so there that
sure.
goes.
So for the real Africans, I'm talking to you guys now. You know, a little bit of ass whooping never hurt nobody. So we came from that. I came from that. So I want to make sure that, you know, that's not what I'm doing, but you got to make sure that every now and then you shake the table a little bit to make sure that the kids are not really, you know,
walking over
you or learning certain habits and behaviors that they think is the norm.
And I think something, I'm sorry to interrupt you, babe. Because I don't do that often, guys, but for this show, I'm going to do it more now. But something I think that we actually did a good job is that we let each other build our own dynamic with each other's kids.
Right.
It wasn't like when I started bringing you around my daughters, I brought you around, you know, my oldest first, because she's the formal vetter. She's the better of the girls. So when I saw that because sometimes my oldest thinks she's my second wife. Let's call a spade a spade. Because she always be like, did you speak with Auntie Kate about this? Well, did you say? She's that way. So once I saw that you had like a natural connection with her, it made my confidence to say, okay, I'll bring the other two. Because the other two, they move more lock and step than my eldest. And I think it was a little bit shaky with your daughter in the beginning because obviously, you know, she's a daddy's girl, right? So she was very, you know, her dad this, her dad that. So when we had that little kerfuffle, right? It was like, what you mean gonna go tell your mom first? Like before you listen to me. Your son and I was lockstep. He was cool. And I think we did a great job.
Yeah, and I mean, and I
kids.
think with the girl, that motherly connection, and I think also she feels uncomfortable with certain things coming to tell you. And I think if your kids were boys, it would probably be the same thing because they might not feel comfortable asking me to do certain things like, okay, can you take me to the restroom or can you this, can you that? But with my daughter, I think it's also like that motherly connection that she has where she feels like, well, I need to, when I'm around mommy, you know, everything is just all mommy. I'm not talking to anybody else. Or she'll even find another woman to ask. We've had that experience rather than talking to you. It's like, oh, that's a woman.
Hey,
Let me ask the
wild.
woman because I don't feel comfortable asking a man.
Absolutely wild.
That's a challenge that we have when it comes to the co-parents, but you have to allow your partner to do the co-parenting.
You do.
And as long as it's not anything physical
Or disrespectful.
in a sense,
yeah.
yes. Naturally allow them to be a part of your life, which your kids are your everything. And if this woman or this guy is in your life, you trust in them enough to be able to discipline. I say charity begins at home. And I'm an equal opportunity, I guess, parenter. Is that a word?
I mean, it's subjective, right? I've been around the
Because if
kids
I'm yelling
together.
for my kids upstairs to come do dishes, you know I'm calling your kids to come. And it was a tough thing in the beginning because I remember one time where the kids were here and I called the girls to come help me prune flowers outside and clean the pond.
I mean, that caught me off guard, right?
Okay, well, it's summertime, and
babe, you go into like hardcore cleaning
and I'm gonna
mode.
land. So I'm cleaning, I'm pruning, and I'm cleaning the pond. And I called the girls and I gave them the net to help clean the pond. And Daddy came, and Daddy is like, "Oh well, you know, this is something you like to do. You know, this is not like you know, a fun activity." So I was like, "Oh, okay."
No, well, I was trying to get a sense of how long was the activity going to be. Because, babe, you know, when it comes to cleaning, marathon. Cleaning, marathon. Kate.
So, and I'll end here with that. You have to allow the other parent to really do the job because you trust them enough to be with them. They are not going to harm your kids in any way.
True.
Just allow them to, because, you know, mikasa sukasa, right?
Yes.
But they have to respect the space.
100%.
They have to respect your parenting style. Your kids are my kids.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to interact with them naturally without feeling like I'm overstepping or I have to kind of like dance around it.
Yeah.
To me, I wouldn't want the step mother to my kids to feel like, okay, if they're really doing the right thing, they need to question that because nothing good comes out of that.
And something that you know, we both haven't mentioned yet, but I think that we did a good job with is really cementing to our groups of children that, hey, this is who we are with. So the respect aspect has to be there because your kids are a little younger. That I think you did a phenomenal job with that, really getting that across. So it's whereas they come in and they engage with me now, and this has been over some time.
Yeah.
The closer that they get to us, it's made a lot of sense, and now the comfort is there where you can go with my girls solo, I could go with your kids solo, and we've done that a few times,
Right.
and it's been pretty successful.
And it has been, and it leads into, the co-parenting and the mingling of the family dynamics. It's all part of it. Because if you trust me enough to be around your kids, you trust me to be around your families. And when parents and family members get involved in certain things and they have their opinions about certain
100%.
things, you need to protect me. I need to protect you. We need the united front, right? And it could be having that united front in front of the people, and then when we come back home, you can address me or I can address you, and then we go back to the public with that same united front to have that same response.
Because as we were talking before, and this is a topic for a whole nother day, but on top of blending the kids, it's crazy to blend the families too. I mean, and we could go into a whole nother episode on that, but that was something we talked about was, hey, well, your ex-husband was around your family for this amount of time. My ex-wife was around my family for this amount of time. And now here we are with a brand new person. And we have to really cover all of those tracks. But before we can worry about the adults, the kids were the most important part. But something that we also talked about, and let's talk to our audience, is the tough parts of when we don't have the kids here. So as many of you know, this is post-holiday season. This year, none of us had the children.
Yeah, when you're dealing with divorce, this is something I had to learn. There's something called odd and even years. I thought that was just in like math, right? Odd numbers, even numbers. But when you really take it through the court system, you will learn this. And so odd years are, say, his year, and even years are your year.
Yep.
And so the years that you don't have the kids, how do you deal with that? Not just you, but the children, how do they deal with that? It's a whole new space for the children. And I always worry about the kids first because as an adult, you swallow a lot and you're able to navigate more. And we're always saying that, okay, kids are resilient and they can go through everything, but the emotions sit with them and they recall some of these things because with the holidays that they might not be, and I'll speak for me, might not be spending with me, when it's time to go, they start talking about, oh, well, last Christmas we did this. Oh, so we still, I don't know if we're going to go do that over there. How is that going to be for you, mommy? What are you going to be doing? Oh, we're going to miss the snow. That is all like tough.
It is tough. And what's really tough is that our parenting accessibility to the kids with our kids is so different. So where yours is a little bit more specific, like with that, mine's is a lot more fluid. So while you would think that's like an advantage, really with it being fluid means that the kids call the shots. So, and you find yourself in a struggle because like we try to involve them in so much and they're just like, yeah, nah, I'm cool. And I haven't been great at really pushing.
And I'll let you finish.
No,
but I
would love for you to. I want you to take over from here.
But this comes back to why the co-parenting also becomes even more challenging because if the kids are not around enough, it's almost like when they leave, they forget everything. And you have to reteach and they have to relearn. Lack of a better term, they don't respect the house rules enough because they don't stick around long enough for them to stick.
To set the
So you're constantly teaching and you're constantly having to go back to remind them. And as the other parent, you also feel guilty sometimes. And when I say you, I mean you with the person to my right, where they feel like they have to say yes to everything because the kids are not around enough.
Am I a yes man?
Well, no. I didn't say, I said the person to my right. So I'm just saying, when you go through these things, it's challenging because you feel like you need to be, receptive to so many different things that comes with the kids because you're feeling guilty and you're feeling
and that is something and I think that for me, like I said, with having a little bit more access to my kids, I'll bear in front of you as I've done in front of Kate. Hell yeah, I do feel guilty sometimes, right? And we both have discussed, but speaking specifically to me, any of the fathers out there who may be experiencing this, whether it's your son or your daughter, you probably feel like you failed them at a certain point. So the overselling and the over understanding
That's the word
really
I was looking for.
really derails, and it can derail what you're establishing in your new space. And when I first started bringing my girls around, they were very apprehensive in dealing with you in the beginning. And I didn't know how to set that tone. Because if you don't understand how to set that tone, they could damage the relationship because they don't really have a loyalty to your new spouse. You, all right, fellas, you are the one that sets that tone. So in setting that tone, it's important that you let the kids know this is who I'm with.
Whose house?
And whose house and whose
Ron's
rules.
house.
Our house.
Right.
And you let them know this is your space too, but do understand this is the lady of the house and you will respect her as such. And I say this verbatim because that's something that I actually had to say to one of my kids. I ain't gonna say what you want.
Right. I said that this morning too, right? Where I said, well, mi casa, su casa, pero mi casa. Like it really is my house.
I don't speak Spanish.
So
guys, at
you
all.
need to make sure that
Poquito,
you respect
not
the
much.
house. And if the united front is there, the kids understand, oh, okay, I can't mess with him because
we gotta get your daughter to work on that too, but
well, and the kids is a struggle
Well,
for
it's not
them.
a well, but-
It is a well, because when somebody is at that tender age, they're processing so much when that happens.
Yo,
when a divorce
she's
happens.
tender. She's serious.
But
She knows.
she gets a lot more grace from me because they're dealing with so much. Because sometimes I wonder, well, when they see daddy, what are they thinking? How are they feeling? Around the holidays, when they're around, are they feeling like, well, this could have been mommy and daddy again? And maybe there's that hate and resentment and the disrespect that they might not even be aware of because they're mad at me.
Well, I think
right, unintentionally.
And we did
so
experience
I
that in
don't,
the beginning.
Yeah, and so I don't personalize it too much, and that's why I said, you know, while the African mother in me wants to jump out sometimes, I have to stand back and say, you know, it's not their fault. So we want to make sure that having certain conversations with them as they get older, embracing them more, showing them a lot more love and affection, not having them walk all over us, but showing them a lot more love and affection, and continuing to let them know that mommy and daddy love you the same way. We're not together doesn't mean that, you know, the love has changed. And also not encouraging them to be negative, you know, just so they can get their way, because they know that the parents are already feeling guilty. And so they use that, situation, to try to get their way. So you need to be in sync.
And that manipulation part was, look, my daughters, they were manipulating a little bit in the beginning. I know when you girls see this, you're gonna be like, Daddy, no, but you know you were. And you
fall flat.
Listen, did I fall
on your
or
face
did I
and
roll?
roll?
I kneeled. I didn't fall, I kneeled.
Okay.
Because there is a guilt when divorce happens, right? As in us being take two, talking about the second time around, there's so many things that you have to try to handle. And I'll speak for me, you know, and feel free to chime in back. And when I got divorced, I felt like I could handle the dynamic. I didn't understand the dynamic of reinventing myself in the beginning until situations came up. And something that I took for granted was the father that I was at that time in that union. I didn't understand what it was to be a parent in a singular union now. The decisions that I made at that time were just based on me, not with their mom. So I did find myself overdoing for the kids. And that's something that I will say that I brought right into the front of this relationship, where it was, admittedly, sometimes it was a my girls versus her type of scenario. And I'll say this to anyone who's looking to blend a family, you have to be very specific with that dynamic. Because the moment your kids smell that you will go toe-to-toe with who you're dating or involved with, for them, the respect is through the window. Because they don't owe your new spouse loyalty. They owe it to their parent. So you, as that parent, and I talk to the fellas and ladies, hear me, it belongs to you to set that.
I completely agree with you, but we want to hear from you guys, because this is something that we continue to struggle with. We're not experts, we're still navigating. So if you're going through similar situation, navigating that co-parenting experience that you may have, What has your experience been, and how are you dealing with this?
you-
How are you
yeah.
navigating?
And we
want
want
to
you
hear
guys
from you
yeah,
guys.
Reach out to us. Kate mentioned we aren't experts, so we'd love to hear from you guys. And we encourage you to ask the right questions, ask the questions, and we'll try to give you the right answers. Take 2, Mylan and Kate. Peace.